Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, January 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. First one, the price you see over there will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see will be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, BZFD, absolutely monster movement. Now, maybe this is a little tricky to talk about because there's some perspective that goes into it, meaning if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within, 12 minutes, well, then yeah, from that perspective, the chart looks really bad because, yeah, there's been a very big pullback here. In fact, there's no doubt about it. There has been, as of now, a downwards channel that has formed. However, if you care about the big picture of things, well, by definition, you would care more about just this downwards channel. You would say, well, what was happening before this downwards channel? And when you ask that, it's very clear that there is this big old explosive move like that, which is now actually giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. Let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But my point here is that there is the bullish pattern. So is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can turn itself around, come up to that level and get the breakout through the pattern, that could create additional buying pressure? That's certainly not a guaranteed thought, but it is a plausible thought to have. So if you like bull flag patterns, if you like stocks down below the $5 range, I definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, BBBY, which is having a train wreck of an afternoon after that news came out. But just from a technical point of view, I mean, and this will mean more to those of you that watched videos from a couple weeks ago, but I put that trend line into place as the area of resistance, and the price stayed below it. And then earlier today came up, and you can see right there, just absolutely rejected from that trend line. Now, am I implying that the trend line forecasted and predicted when the news was going to come out? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's interesting how charts work. It's interesting how these dynamics work. And more of the story here from a technical point of view, if there is any sort of attempted bounce from this current craziness right now, then that trend line remains public enemy number one from a resistance standpoint. But I'll zoom in here now that we can take a closer look so you understand where that red line is coming from. But as far as supports are concerned, really two main levels to watch in my mind. First level going to be right there at that $2.40 mark. And then the next level is just simply based on the question, where did the bloodshed finally stop today? And that was down there at the $2.10 mark. So 240, 210 going to be the two near-term levels of support. But yeah, no doubt about it. Nasty move. All this is happening on very large volume, but we'll see what Friday has to offer. Next one, AKAN, and there's no doubt about it. This is a very ugly looking chart, but for those of you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. But there can be opportunity in the ugly, and the opportunity here comes in the form of some former breakout levels and then moving averages. So if I throw this green line in right here, whoops, currently my ugly mug is hiding some of it. There we go. So the first and interesting dynamic here is that you have this former little breakout point right here at 23 cents. You can see the price made a move, came down here, got stuck below that green line, and then was stuck for a long time, and then finally broke up through it. So when former areas of resistance are broken, they tend to act as support. And then you correspond that with the fact, in fact, now that you see where that green line is coming from, let's just zoom in here a little bit better. And then when you look closely to that green line, you can see that there's the purple line that basically matches up perfectly with it, which is the 50-period moving average, a very famous moving average. So as I said, is it guaranteed? Is it for sure that if this thing gets a little bit more ugly and comes down here, is it going to bounce 100% guaranteed? No, but is it plausible? Is there a thought process that goes behind it? Absolutely. But these are definitely situations where you got to have risk management because if the price comes down here and just keeps on bleeding, you don't want to be one of those people that's still holding when this thing's at, 5 cents. So, but from a risk reward standpoint, if you do get the bounce and relative to what was being risked, you could be looking at a very interesting scenario. Next one, AMC. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line. That's from previous videos. And just the bleeding continues. And the newest sign of bleeding is the fact that it broke down through this former area of support that until today had done a very good job of holding strong. You can see held strong. Even today was holding strong until the price eventually got down through there. So a basic rule in charting when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So yes, this afternoon, bit of a bounce here. You can see with the hammer candle forming as the price is working its way upwards. So $5.30 will be that first big question mark in this form of, can the price first off, get back up to that level, and then second, break through and stay above it. So 530, the next key level of resistance. In terms of levels of support, as I talked about previously, the next big one here is all about that pink line, which on my chart denotes the very famous, the very well-known 200 period moving average, currently valued at $4.97. So if you just want to call $5, I don't think I'd argue against that. So again, $5.30 key level of resistance, $4.97 key level of support. Next one, MLGO, and this is why I like to do these when the market's still open, because check out this last 30 minutes. I mean, things were pulling back, and now all of a sudden, volume is returning. You can see as it pours in over here, and good solid green candle. So that brings up the very, very exciting question to be able to ask, hey, is this the start of something bigger? Now, maybe that question doesn't seem like much, but think about it. In order to ask, is this the start of something bigger, something first needs to happen in the first place, and we got that here with this very, very strong last 30 minutes. So to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just drifts back into oblivion, but that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is, and this thing keeps working its way back to the upside. So if there is going to be some more follow-through, next key level of resistance to watch very closely, going to be right up here at $3.15. And then as far as supports, if it does pull back here again, then down here right around, give or take, the $2.50 mark, you can see there's been some buyers, both from earlier on in the day, and then as you saw later on, that's right where the price got a bounce. But yeah, no doubt about it. Very interesting last 30 minutes. Does this carry into Friday? Is this the start of another round back upwards? Let's see what happens. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader to manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. But one special note, because it's a genuinely live presentation, a couple things. Maybe you're like me, got 5 kids, and you already have something on your schedule, so you can't make it. Maybe you're just watching this Friday morning and you completely missed it. The event will be recorded, so if you're interested in seeing a replay of it, then go ahead, drop me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to it. Now, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in a few hours. But if you can't, that's okay. I understand. Drop me an email, and like I said, I'll send you a replay link when the event is over and I get it uploaded. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Just had earnings and the trend continues. So just higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose now. Let me zoom back in here a little bit more. There we go. So as far as, key level to watch, actually, I'm kind of curious. Are we approaching any levels that, whoops, didn't need to go that far. Yeah, I think so. So let's see, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. Right there, so it makes actually perfect sense why 161.50 presented some problems. So let me change that to red for resistance. But when you go back here through the history of things, you can see that both there presented problems, and once again today, right there presented problems. So right around 161.50 makes perfect sense now why that did present problems when you go back here through the history of the chart. So keep an eye on that as that main area of resistance. And as we zoom back in, look at that, the power of charts. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for the free training. Are charts perfect? No, but do they have a place? Should you be using them? Absolutely, and we have just a classic example of that right there. Look at that. You just can't make that stuff up. As far as supports are concerned, key level to watch, going to be right up there at that pullback area from earlier today, 154.50. You can see a couple of times the bears try to press down through there, but the bulls did a good job of holding strong. And as I speak, the price is getting carried right back up to that point. So it seems very likely at this point that the big question headed into Friday is, can the bulls break through that 161.50 mark? We'll see what happens. Next one, MULN. And yesterday is where the main explosion came into play. And yes, the price did pull back here again. So generally speaking, had a downtrend, but you probably know what I'm going to say next. But you're going to say, well, what was happening before this downtrend? And yes, before this downtrend, big solid move upwards. So we have ourselves another bull flag pattern. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull flag patterns, here you go. Next one, NIO, and very popular one out there, which makes me think that a lot of people have drawn something very similar to that trend line right there, which puts the key breakup point right up there around $12.50. So again, there are no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can get up there and then push up through $12.50, that break in and of itself could create buying pressure just because people are going to say, hey, I'm a breakout player. Hey, look, that's breaking out. Oh, I should be buying. Yeah, that is plausible. And like I said, sometimes those are just self-fulfilling prophecies, and so be it. So $12.50 going to be that main area of support, or excuse me, of resistance. But in terms of supports, what I'm curious about now moving forward, and I want to get this trend line into play, because you can see this trend line has actually done a very, very impressive job of forecasting bounce points. Just going back through the history of things, you can see, did a good job there and then there. So if the price does pull back here, it makes the valid question, can you get another price or a bounce off that level? It's happened before. Doesn't mean it'll happen again. But again, nobody could accuse you of having no logic behind why you might want to buy down around that area. But yeah, as of right now, nice little, potentially maybe a poor man's cup and handle here that's forming. So if this does get the move back upwards, and like I said, 1250 is going to be a very interesting battleground. Next, MARA, and like we were just looking at, got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there, and we'll be watching that very closely moving forward. So self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. If the price can get up there and then push up through there, it's plausible to think, it's rational to think that that could create additional buying pressure. So keep an eye on that as the overarching level of resistance. In terms of levels of support, key general level going to be right down there at that point, $7.90. And let me squeeze this down, because what we essentially have here from a bigger picture point of view is we have, again, I'll keep it one color, resistance. We have our support. We have the big move up right here. To make it more visual, let's put a golf hole down here. And we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. So same general idea as a bull flag pattern, but bull pennant. So if you like to play these patterns, if you like to play stocks that are a little, higher priced than penny stocks, then here you go. And you got to keep in mind that overall, this is still in an uptrend. I mean, this thing's been putting in higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game. So now you have the bull pennant within the bull uptrend. So like I said, if you like these scenarios, worth keeping an eye on for sure. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that goes along with the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Big difference being this one just allows you access at a much lower price point. And as you would expect, NASDAQ had a very good day, and so did this one. In fact, just look at this afternoon. Just the slow and steady grind in the upwards direction. This level right here, which had previously been a very stubborn level right around that $22 mark, was destroyed today. So that's where the first update comes into play. First, let me do a little house cleaning, get that out of there. So first update, again, as I've said, based on the rule that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So with any sort of pullbacks, 2190 going to be an important level of support. But as far as next potential battlegrounds, as we're seeing here, the chart's going to get harder to see. But that's a good problem to have, because that just means that we're having to go back way into the chart's history. But next key overarching level to watch right here at, I think I was just talking about 2190. And next key level of resistance right up here at 2290, which is coming from, you can see the history of things. Price had this nasty move down, and then it had a very strong bounce, and then got rejected not once, but twice right at that level. So 2290 will be a very important level of resistance to watch moving forward. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, zooming back in here, no doubt about it. Very, very impressive late day grind. Really since late morning, price has essentially just been grinding higher and higher. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. It'll be this evening, Thursday, January 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll see you there. But again, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I would be happy to send you a link to it. All I ask is, because it's live, the event first has to happen, then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send it to you. So your patience is greatly appreciated. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, then help me out by doing two things. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know that you are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the required time and effort to get these videos out to you. So thanks for watching. Get signed up for that class, and hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours. But if not, drop me an email.